Well, about Marikana, Marikana shouldn't have taken place. Marikana was very unfortunate. We had hoped that the government by now would have been able to have more sophisticated methods of dispersing crowds, no matter how armed those crowds are. So again, we believe that the government had vast resources in order to be able to infiltrate the workers in Marikana and to ensure that if there are workers who are armed, then certain methods should be used in order to make sure that those workers are actually disarmed. It's one of those unfortunate plots in the history of democracy that shouldn't have happened. But having said that, we also wish to indicate, as the generation of 1976, that when we marched and moved after the shooting had taken place, we actually burned a number of buildings out of anger. And those buildings, we believe that they deserved to be trashed. We burned most of the beer halls throughout Soweto. The beer halls were a source of income for the West Rand administration. And we banned all the administration board offices. No single school was banned in 1976. Because if you were to ban a school, whose classroom would you be starting with? Because each and every student was hell-bent on defending their own classroom. So schools were never ever touched. Even now, when schools are being banned, we would wish to urge the government to ensure that there is legislation that is put into place so that any banning of a learning institution, whether it's a classroom, a lecture room, or a library, it must be met with the harshest sentence. If it's a minimum of 10 years and a maximum of more than 10 years, that would send a very clear message to those who are hell-bent on banning learning institutions.
And clearly, there are some parts of the Fees Must Fall student movement that you would agree with, but there were some parts of this Fees Must Fall student movement that you condemn, such as the burning of schools.
Definitely. It's unfortunate that the government has not been able to do as much as we would have expected, because what the government did was to establish NSFAS, and the private sector is also making their own contribution. So we should remember that during the period of apartheid, there was nothing like NSFAS, which meant in essence that the African students and the black students in general could not be able to go to tertiary institutions if their parents could not be able to afford. So the establishment of NSFAS was a huge step in order to ensure that poor families would be able to have kids who are graduates. We support NSFAS, and we support the government for having established that particular type of scheme. But all we are saying is that more could have been done in order to avoid a program like Fees Must Fall. And congratulations also goes to these young people who were able to organize a massive demonstration on Fees Must Fall across the country. Because during that period, no violence took place. It was only students' activism showing how they wanted to ensure that their peers who cannot be able to afford fees actually are able to go to school.